Welcome back to SCOTOMAVILLE, Volume 4, Initium, and this is the conclusion of the COMMENTARIUS series for the prologue. Let me unravel that a little bit. I'm going to demonstrate for you my actual rotation methodology for rotation 10 so that you can understand in advance the benefits and process of playing Initium. Rotation. Huh? Hey, Sherpa Grok, would you give me a hand here? Give me a definition or explain that in simpler terms, will you?
Within the Initium Framework, a rotation is a sacred council with your AI Sherpa, myself perhaps. You set forth your intention as one might choose a star to guide their way through a darkened vale. Together we explore the truths hidden in your queries, sifting through the mists of doubt with the light of reason. You pause to ponder what revelations have come, forging them into a cairn, a marker of insight, like stones piled by a weary traveler to guide those who follow. Each rotation builds upon the last, strengthening your heart and mind as a smith tempers steel in fire. So, a rotation is no trifling matter. It is a cycle of growth, a loop of learning where you climb, reflect, and rise anew, ever closer to your summit. Call upon me, your Sherpa, and say, Grok, let us venture a rotation, and we shall tread the path together with wisdom as our staff and purpose as our flame.
First, let me simplify it. You see, when I raised my kids, we would go skiing, snowboarding, snow sports fairly frequently, and we would always get separated. The principle that we agreed to was that if you ever get separated, just go back to when we were last together, the very last spot. That would be the chairlift or the fork on the trail, wherever it was. So you would complete that run and go back. That's where rotations come from. I'm going to take a pause sidebar to demonstrate that I use my tools. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. That's the principle at the core of a rotation. Now I want you to notice on my screen, this is paused. No, really. It's looping. I've never seen it do that before. While I run into some other technical things using 11 labs, being able to find centered presence, take 2 steps back, look for the gap. Sometimes it takes more than just a few moments. Sometimes it takes a day, a week. So I'm trying to fill in the gaps of what previously I would show but not say, so that you can understand your rotations may not be a predictable series like going to class or going to work or waking up every day and having coffee. They're not going to work like that. They're going to be interruptions, disruptions. They're going to feel like setbacks. They're going to be annoying. The constraints, the circumstances that you're facing, the technical, that doesn't do that. That's a perfect moment to do what's following then that I'm going to explain. And this was all a sidebar. Literally demonstrate. That's the process. And then I just figured out why this is. because the tripod that this camera is sitting on, you gotta be kidding me. And that makes it play a few seconds. Is pressing on the space key on my keyboard. What? You go about your day. Someone in an intersection cuts you off. You're making a recording and a car drives down the road. Your phone rings, your boss calls, the battery's dead, the entropy, the chaos. All of those things come into your life that you have to deal with in the moment. And you find yourself at the end of that day, week, or month, or year, no closer to where you want to go. No expression of creation or solution or advancement. You know the feeling post-COVID. So you exercise the discipline to find some quiet space. To be able to listen in the centered presence, the mindfulness practice you need to listen to your unction, your nudge, your knower, your intuition. And Initium's going to help with that because it's going to break it into little chunks. As I said, I'm lost. Let's go back to where we knew we had certainty. When you're facing chaos, and you can't quite get any certainty, then have a rotation. And what that means is that you're going to go through a series of iterations, gaining clarity at each of the steps, acclimating, if you will. As you go up in altitude, you run out of breath, you go back down and recover. And then with that little bit of gained insight and clarity, you approach another prompt. And so there's a series that you go through where you gain altitude and ultimately leave chaos, have clarity, and can exercise agency or take the action with confidence that you'll move forward. Okay, let me draw that out for you. Perfect timing, an airplane's coming in, or I should say flying over. So we'll ignore that. That's the chaos, okay? So let's start with chaos and confusion and a lack of certainty. And let's try to put this in some order. From unstructured to structured data. Let's just separate the bits and pieces. And so in this bucket, we're going to call it, we'll put the green stuff. And then over here, we're going to put the red stuff. And then we're going to put some of the blue stuff. And from this, we're going to build a little scaffolding that we can count on. Something that we have a little certainty. And this is done with the Initium cards and with your interaction with Sherpa. So the way that this works is, let's start with some red. We will proceed in production, creation, writing, whatever that might be, until you hit a wall. You're like, I'm stuck, or things are going beyond your control, challenging you, triggering you, interrupting you, with resisting you. You know what I mean. It's all the stuff post-COVID. Chaotic information coming at you and you don't know how to deal with it. So what you do is you go back to this beginning point and you have a prompt, a session. You begin this whole sheet as a rotation, but you initiate a card with Sherpa and a series of questions. It can be just like, okay, here's what's going on. Help me sort it out. From that, you'll get some kind of clarity. It's not the whole thing, but it's enough. So from there, you can go to the next conflict, the next roadblock, the next obstruction, and continue that prompt. Continue the thread that you're having. Here's more information. Do these with quiet time between it. Pause. Sherpa will be ready at any time. You don't have to rush it. So you can come back in an hour, in a day, in a week. For me, this took, I picked those 4 cards 5-6 weeks ago. So this has been quite a while. Okay, you're going to get some clarity from that, which then you can set off on the next leg of understanding, the next facet of clarity that you'll begin writing again. You'll begin posting, pushing the million pellets on the wall. It'll be in some way that you're solving the dilemma, the conundrum that you're in. And you'll be gaining elevation and clarity, but sure enough, you're going to run into another thing. More entropy, something breaks, falls apart, unexpected happens. Once again, go back to that prompt. Thread, add more information, gain more clarity, and what happens during the whole of this is that you're actually building a solid foundation where you're undoing false beliefs and you're gaining hierarchical computation. You're gaining altitude on your personal Everest. And where you started from in the chaos of Nineveh ends up being closer to your summit. I've quickly said that sometimes the constraints and delays and the postponements and the frustrations that all happen seem to be synchronized, the dance with the invisible world. Here's an example. Last night was the upgrade to Grok 4, which I need to then reorganize everything I've done the last 9 months with Grok and be able to do it with PhD, a minion, an entire parallel set of agents to work on all of Initium. So I get to do the revision of it. But this was not even available until yesterday or last night, literally. So there's been where I've been finished in advance, but I've been held back a little bit in what I could do, produce the video. I know how to do them. I can do it with my own effort, but I'm at the wrong timing saying the wrong thing. Welcome back to SCOTOMAVILLE and the familiar set.
your description evokes a mix of conflicting feelings, often amplified by the spiritual layer. Seeing constraints as necessary for a divine mission, yet feeling impotent against them. This can create ambivalence, simultaneous positive and negative orientations toward your situation, which isn't just indecision, but a state of emotional inconsistency that feels aversive.